Why are we throwing an apple at each other?
Because this week's first story is about launching satellites into orbit.
Ah, you're not going to try and launch this apple into orbit, are you?
No, but if I did, which direction would I have to launch it?
Not upwards.
Not up, because if I did, it comes straight back down again.
That's gravity.
That's gravity. No, if you wanted this to go into orbit, you would have to make it go really fast, sideways, about 17,000 miles an hour. So as it fell, it missed the surface of the Earth and just went round it.
That's why rockets need so much fuel.
Exactly, which has been a problem since forever. But there is another way to get this apple to go that fast. Any ideas?
Go on, amaze me.
So you could attach it to a long arm and then start spinning it round and round and round and round and round, getting faster and faster. And once you're at the right speed, you let it go.
That's bananas.
No, it's an apple.
All right, here we go.
Oh my gosh.
200 miles an hour.
You're not going to believe what I can see through this window. In fact, you're going to have a hard time believing this story at all. I certainly did to start with. In this chamber is a new way to launch satellites into orbit. Oh my gosh, it's becoming a blur.
400 miles an hour.
And it's just that far away from us.
Yes.
And can you just one more time go over what it is you're planning to do? Because it's like, I still can't believe it.
So SpinLaunch is capable of literally throwing satellites into space. We'll cut the laughing.
Yep, you heard it right. David and I are currently looking at a live video feed of a prototype spin launcher in New Mexico. When the full-size one is built, it will take a small satellite, stick it inside a giant dart, load it onto a 100-meter long arm, gradually spin it round and round, faster and faster, and then let it go at 5,000 miles an hour. Don't believe me? I don't blame you. This idea sounds completely nuts.
Well, you know what's nuts is rockets. Rockets are combustion chambers that burn cryogenic propellants at temperatures that are greater than like the surface of the sun. They have thousands of components that are made out of the most exotic materials known to man, and they're on the verge of blowing apart at any possible minute. I think SpinLaunch is quite a bit less nuts than a rocket. And look, as the day's gone on, I've started to believe it. By getting the projectile above the atmosphere, you've done away with the need for most of your fuel and most of your weight. Without air resistance, a much smaller rocket can then get the satellite up to 17,000 miles an hour and into orbit.
The vehicle is passively stable, so you can see it has a heavy tip in the front and fins in the back. That provides passive stability that stabilizes it like a dart. So if it comes out a little bit sideways, it automatically stabilizes.
How many Gs is this thing pulling as it goes around?
So the system pulls 10,000 Gs at peak speed.
You can't put people in this, can you?
You cannot put people.
I mean, you can put people in, but you won't get people out. To prove it works, these guys put an iPhone 4 into the accelerator and got it up to 12,500 G. It still works. Oh. The company says it's eventually planning for up to 5 launches a day, and it will cost about $500,000 per launch compared to $7 million for a rocket launch. Before then, testing is ongoing using the 33-meter arm in New Mexico and a 12-meter arm here in Long Beach, California. And I've been invited to witness a test launch firsthand. Now, the 12-meter accelerator won't be launching into the air. This much smaller projectile will be fired down a tube and straight into a steel plate. What happens to this after it's launched from that?
So this mostly turns to dust as it hits the end of the tunnel.
Oh my gosh. Now, where were we? Oh yeah.
500 miles an hour.
So now you're going about as fast as a jet.
The actual projectiles and the spinning arm are made of carbon fibre, pretty much the only substance that can withstand the forces involved.
700 miles an hour.
And in order to spin up to nearly 1,000 miles an hour today, this entire chamber needs to be a near vacuum. And that's why we can hardly hear anything.
System is supersonic.
If this were full of air, we'd get a sonic boom on every single revolution.
You can hear a little bit.
Can you hear it?
Just a little bit. A little bit of vibration too.
Arming system.
Here we go. So he's doing the launch sequence
Launching
now.
in 10,
9. Here we go.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launching.
That was
We have
Yeah.
a good launch.
Yeah.
Decelerating system.
In my mind, this has gone from nonsense to plausible in the space of a few hours. And in October last year, the first test launch in New Mexico proved that the carbon fibre dart could not only launch, but also survive a landing in which it buried itself in the desert.
That was going supersonic straight towards us, and
Yes.
then it
Yeah.
went round, and then
Multiple-
it came
multiple
towards us
times,
again.
Multiple times per second.
Oh wow!
Yeah, multiple times per second.
Thank you for letting go at the right points.
Yeah, it's all in the timing. You have to, you know.